Hey Transformers fans, here I am again with another video review for you. This time I'm going to be taking a look at the recently released X-Transbots Master Mini Series, number 84 MMX Warrior Toro, otherwise known as an unofficial Masterpiece Cliffjumper. Pretty happy to have this guy. You know, Cliffjumper is a character that is pretty iconic from the original series. He had a lot of great moments in the cartoon. It always kind of, makes me shake my head a little bit that Hasbro and Takara haven't, gone all in on the original 1984 cast of these characters. And I understand that there's all kinds of reasons why they haven't, but, Cliffjumper is one of those characters that, I think a lot of people have been waiting for a really nice version of Masterpiece Cliffjumper. And I think that of all of the ones that have been released, or at least are coming, combination of upcoming releases and ones that have already been released, I think this one probably captures the character in robot mode the best out of all of the ones that I've seen. The proportions and everything, I mean, I'll get into it when you see him in robot mode, but I think it's the best one so far. So I'm just going to take a look at all of the stuff that you get with him before I get to the figure itself. So as you can see, his packaging is really nice. X-Transbots does a nice job on their packaging. Nice picture of Toro Cliffjumper there. And as you can see, it's very much Masterpiece styled packaging. Nice picture of Cliffjumper in his robot mode. Warrior Toro. Nice shot of his vehicle mode there. On the bottom, you've got a picture of their upcoming Menosaur, so that'll be kind of cool. And then on the back, you can kind of see, this is a kind of a neat piece of artwork on the back here. You've got like a schematic wireframe of Cliffjumper there. And then in true G1 style, they've got his tech specs on the back with a cool little bio. I'll zoom in here. If you want to read it, you can pause the video and check it out, but it's kind of a neat little bio. And then the tech specs that you use the decoder to see. I will actually call it one thing on here. So if you see, the last line of his bio says, Toro finds himself on the front line regularly. He hosts a top 40 radio program in his free time. I love that they threw that in there as a sort of an homage or, a tip of the hat to Casey Kasem, who was the guy that did the voice of Cliffjumper in the original series. And as you know, Casey Kasem used to do the top 40 countdown and all that. So that's pretty cool that they added that little kind of nod to him in the bio of Toro here. So that's pretty neat. So that's the box. You also get, in typical X-Transbot style, you get a really nice collector card, and this is hard plastic. It's like a credit card basically in the thickness of it. Very high gloss, nice artwork. It's the same artwork that's on the front of the box. Toro. A little bit easier to see the tech specs here. It's broken down without the need for a code or anything like that. Nice little bio. It's the same bio that's on the back, but yeah, very cool little collector card that you get with it. Take a quick look at the instruction manual. Again, you've got the nice artwork. There's the full schematic that you sort of saw halfway on the box. That's very cool. And they do a really nice job of outlining how the figure works, all of the different nuances and stuff. It's very detailed. It shows all of the different accessories that you get, and there are a ton of accessories that you get, which is cool. Shots of how you put them on, taking a look at the car mode, and then the steps of the transformation are very, very well laid out. I mean, you can see the pieces that you're supposed to be moving are highlighted in color versus everything else is gray. So it's very very easy to follow along, and the transformation is pretty intuitive. Like, I didn't have to struggle through this one like I have with other third parties transformations. It's not overly complex, but it's fun and very very Masterpiece style. So very cool. But yeah, the instructions are good, and it shows you where all the different guns. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. Very cool. Like that. I'll take a look at the skid of accessories, but I will break this down sort of piece by piece as we go. But it has come with, sort of in the vein of Ironhide and Ratchet, where they give you the skid that holds all of his pieces. You get one with Cliffjumper as well. One of the accessories that you get is this sort of two-piece spear, so you can hold one in each hand, or you can just sort of clip them together like that, and then you've got a big long sort of pike staff. I don't remember what episode that's from, but I'm sure obviously it's from from some moment in the G1 cartoon. But that kind of just tucks into these holes here so you can have them sticking up on the sled. I'll get that out of the way. He comes with multiple guns, including his big honkin' cannon that he used in the very first episode of the very first series. So we'll take a look at that in a few minutes. But then he also has all of these other blasters that he used at one point or another throughout the show. One cool thing that I will show off right now is he's got this little glass gas, I'm sure blaster or something like that, that, you know, it was sort of his signature weapon that just clips on one of his fists. I can show that when he's in robot mode, but it just sort of tucks on the back there. But couple things that I will show that are accessories for when he's in car mode. So this chunk here that holds all of his guns separates from the base, and then he's got these skis or hydrofoils or whatever you want to call them that are from one of the episodes in the G1 series. I think it's Dinobot Island, where he is, for some reason, flying along on the water in car mode, and he's got these skis. So he's zooming along, and that's what that is for. So you do get to recreate that scene if you want to. So that's kind of cool that they do that. Putting that aside, there is two other accessories for his car mode that I will show off, and that is this little slot here on the hood. You can kind of see there's like a little cutout on the hood of the Cliffjumper, and that's for these. I'll just take this blaster out of the way. That's for these two little things. So one of them is, again, sort of that, I think it's a gas blaster that he used at one point, and that just pops in. There's a little sculpted piece on the bottom that fits into that. That fits into that cutout. So he's got his blaster popping out of his hood, which is kind of neat. And then he also has this little pop-out antenna aerial that I can't remember again what episode that is from, but again, I'm sure it's from the original cartoon, otherwise they wouldn't have it. But yeah, so it's a couple of cool little accessories for when he's in car mode. So that's kind of neat. I like that, when they include all of these little teeny tiny things that allow you to recreate any of the scenes that you might want to from the show. Just going to put this back on here so that all stays together. And I do have a vehicle comparison that I'm going to show you, because this is probably the only one that you're interested in at this time. It would be Bumblebee versus Cliffjumper, which were, you know, kind of the two most iconic mini bots. I mean, yeah, if you've got, you know, an affinity for Huffer or Gears or whatever, that's fine. But I mean, these two guys really were sort of the two most common, well-known little mini bots from the show. And as you can see, Cliffjumper's just a little bit longer than Bumblebee, which is good because I think the Beetle would probably be a smaller car than this style of Ferrari or Porsche. I think it's a Porsche that this is. They look pretty good together. You know, they scale well. I mean, yeah, this one's lower to the ground, but it would be since it's such a sports car. But yeah, these two cars look really good together. I'm pretty happy with the way that these turned out. Taking a closer look at the figure itself, you can kind of see there's an awful lot of really nice paint apps on here. The headlights are done really well. You know, the grille is painted. The little black pieces on there are painted. He's got silver on the rims. You know, the windows are a really nice dark black plastic. You know, the taillights are painted very nicely as well. That looks really good. Little black stripe on the bumper. Even the door handles are painted. You know, there's a little running lights on the side. Really, really nice. You'll probably notice that I have already put a Repro Labels Autobot logo on the front, as it would be in where his logo was. He's in vehicle mode, so I did that. Yeah, so that's a really nice, solid looking little red sports car. I really like it a lot. Now, getting to the transformation, it's actually pretty intuitive. I just had to get it started. I used to use the instructions to get it started, but once I did, then everything kind of just was pretty easy to follow, so it was pretty easy. So the first thing that I do to transform this guy is I actually split the front of the car just a little bit, just like that, to pop that up. And that gives me enough clearance to kind of wiggle this loose, the front end of the car loose, which is going to be his feet. And then I just pull these panels, these hood panels up just a little bit. They don't come up very much, but they come up a little bit. And it just gives you enough space to work with here. And then that allows you to wiggle his legs out, and they kind of just sort of accordion or expand out can kind of see they fold in on each other. And that's how you get those out, just like that. And they are, there's ratchets in the knees, which is nice because it gives it a nice solid connection. Yeah. So once you get his feet out, or his legs extended, then you can start moving some panels around on his feet. So this hood piece is very cool. It kind of folds or rotates down and around. So that's on the inside of his foot. So you do that, and just kind of tuck those in. And then you can fold his leg up like that, or fold his foot down like that. And then you can kind of see we've almost got his legs pretty much done. This back panel folds in to kind of complete the back of his leg, and then just rotate the tires down so that they're flat on the bottom of his foot like that. And there is Cliffjumper with his legs done. The next thing you're going to want to do is, these doors kind of popped out already, but just pop those doors out and fold them down. Get them out of the way just like that. And then you can take his whole windshield, roof, back of the car, and fold that all the way up and back. And that goes all the way out like that. Make it easy to work with. Then what you're going to want to do is, from the inside here, just kind of pop that up like that. That's as far as it goes. You don't have to push it so far. It doesn't fold all the way back. Just careful, right? It's, you know, if you push too hard, it'll break. But you just need enough clearance there so that when you fold in these tires, you've got the clearance. So the tires kind of fold in about halfway, or like a 90-degree angle, so that they're kind of like that. I do that on both sides. And then these side panels, or quarter panels, I guess, on the back, fold in like kind of at the same time. You want to get them, the tires, so that they line up, kind of like that. I'm not sure if you can see it or not. I hope you can. And then just push them in. Oh, I've got the, there we go. Push them in further to get them totally out of the way. And that's how that works. Then this just kind of folds up like that. Next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to fold his arms out and pull his head out. So the arms are on a hinge and a ball joint, so you just pull those all the way up like that, and then you can kind of rotate them about 90 degrees, I find, is what you need to do. And then you can pop his head up kind of in between the shoulders, and that's just sort of on this little plastic piece here. Now this piece is, these wing pieces here are a little bit tricky, so you know, that's one of the other areas that you know, I kind of had to finagle a little bit. So once you get them into this position, you're just going to want to rotate them all the way around like that, and then kind of swing them out. So rotate first, and then swing them out, and then that'll give you the ability to fold in the window. Fold in the window like that, all the way, and just be careful of the mirrors. I'm not sure, it's hard to tell. I'm not sure if that's paint that is kind of, I don't know if you can kind of see it or not, but in the corner right where the thing attaches to the door, the white, it looks like it's white paint or like a gloss that is kind of come loose, but I'm hoping that's not a plastic stress mark. So just be careful of those. They are not the strongest, I'm sure. Anyway, so once you get those folded in, you just rotate this all the way in, just tuck them into his chest, or his back from the chest, and those just kind of sit in there like that. Then you can pull his arms all the rest of the way down, turn him around to the front, and there's Cliffjumper's beautiful face. Let's take a look at it right now while we're here. Very nice head sculpt. Very, very nice. Very G1. Cool blue eyes too. I like it. Fold his hands down, and then pull to extend the arms, and then rotate them about 180 degrees, and then just straighten his fists out like that. And then you've got his arms ready to go. Now to collapse his backpack, first thing you do is you flip that up like that, and accordion this down, or collapse that down, and then this collapses on like that, and then this windshield piece tucks underneath the panel that his head is on, just like that. And if you look closely, you'll see these little notches right on his shoulders, right in there. And that is where these little tabs on either side go into his shoulders. So you got to kind of push it with a fair amount of force to get everything to line up. But once you do, it's solid in there. It's extremely solid. It's not going to come apart on you at all. So if you find his backpack is loose and come out, then you don't have those on all the way. Yeah, so there we have X-Transbots Toro, Masterpiece Cliffjumper wannabe, in his robot mode. And I gotta tell you that this is such a cool little Cliffjumper figure. It is so much better, in my opinion, than some of the other Cliffjumpers that we've seen, because the proportions are much more show accurate. You know, I know he's got a fake chest. However, I'm fine with that to get a figure that looks this good. He just has the proportions right. You know, some of the other figures have a much more barrel chest on them, and it just looks wonky to me. I don't like it. I don't like the proportions. But this guy, I think, looks really, really good. I mean, yeah, he has a backpack. I'm fine with it, because I'm not going to be displaying him like this. I'm not going to be displaying him like that. I mean, even if you display him like that, he still doesn't look too bad. It's just from the side. So if you have him like this, you know, I mean, he looks great. He looks really, really good. So I'm fine with the backpack. There are worse backpacks on better figures, and you know, I'm fine. Articulation, you know, he's pretty good. I'm not going to go through all the articulation. I never really like doing that. I mean, if you want to pose him, you'll know how to pose him. He does have the hand that opens in Masterpiece style, so he can hold all of his weapons. And I will get him, get his weapons out now, so you can sort of see the rest of the guns that he comes with. On his sled here. So he's got this blaster, which is sort of his standard G1 blaster pistol. You know, I think there's at least a couple of episodes where you see him holding a gun that looks like this. So this is kind of the one that I'm probably going to have him with most of the time, just because it's compact and it looks really cool. But it's kind of molded from this this just gray plastic, and then there is some black paint on it to give it a little bit more depth. But I haven't really decided yet if I'm going to paint these silver. I think I might just leave them gray. I think I'm fine with that. So, but they are not shiny silver, but they match the rest of Cliffjumper. He also has this blaster, which looks an awful lot like the blasters that Ratchet and Ironhide come with, you know, with the fins and everything. I don't remember him using this in a show, but I'm sure he did at one point or another. So yeah, comes with that blaster too. He has his big cannon that he used to fire at Megatron and miss, even though he said he had him dead center as a viewfinder. I always thought that was hilarious. But this is his big cannon that he used when he was out with Hound, tracking down the Decepticons on the first episode, and you know, promptly proceeded to get them chased and had Hound get shot by Laserbeak. So it was quite an experience. You know, nice job, Cliffjumper. But that's his big cannon. So very cool. I like it. And then he also has this blaster here, which is, I'm assuming it's probably like another one of his glass gas cannons, because he's got the big nozzle on it, but it could just be a different kind of a laser blaster. Again, this is one of those guns that I don't remember from the show, but you know, I mean, I remember this one, and I remember the big cannon. I don't remember the other two, but there you have it. And then finally, I said I would show this off in robot mode. He's got his nozzle that just easily pops on his hand and kind of clips over his wrist, and there you have Cliffjumper with his big nozzle sprayer, which is pretty cool. I like that. Get this stuff out of the way. So I am going to take a look at some other figures. I'm not going to transform Bumblebee because I just want to make the rest of this video relatively short, and I've already gone on for long enough. So I'm just going to grab some of my other MP figures to show off how he scales. Starting with these two guys, which are two of his Autobot friends from the original series. We've got Masterpiece Bluestreak and Masterpiece Wheeljack. And as you can see, the mini bots compared to the full-size Autobots, this scale works really good. I mean, that is really cool. I mean, when you get him and Bumblebee and the whole team together, they just look fantastic. So very, very cool. He's just the right size for my for what I want on my shelf. So I'm happy with it. Very, very, very happy with it. So yeah, that's kind of my look at X-Transbots Toro, unofficial Masterpiece Cliffjumper. Very, very happy to have this guy in my collection. Cliffjumper was one of those characters that, had quite the personality in the series, so it's fun to see him, represented in such a cool, accurate looking toy to add to a Masterpiece shelf. So if you haven't picked up any version of Masterpiece Cliffjumper and you want to have one, I would highly recommend this one. What else can I say? I mean, he just looks great. And as you can see, I put a Repro Label logo on him to make sure that he's all Autobot symboled up. So he looks totally finished in my opinion. Yeah, so that's my look at Toro. Hope you liked it. I appreciate it if you'd let me know in the comments what you thought. Give me anything that you'd be willing to give me, a like, a share, a subscribe, a comment, anything would be great. I really appreciate you all tuning in. Once again, thanks so much, and hope you have a great day, and we will talk to you again soon.